the Caitlin Clark phenomenon. How do you describe it?
She's clearly an unbelievable player, came in with an unbelievable following, has brought a lot of new fans to the league. If you look at our historic season around this class of rookies, we will be talking about them a generation from now.
I noticed when you're asking about Caitlin a lot, you bring up other rookies as well.
You know what's crazy? The WNBA is losing $40 million this season. That's right, $40 million. And you want to know what's even crazier? The NBA investors don't seem to care. They're sitting on their billion-dollar empire while the Women's League is struggling to stay afloat. But hold up, there's a new player in town. Caitlin Clark is lighting up the court and bringing in the crowds. Could she be the game changer the WNBA needs? Or is this just a temporary boost in a losing battle? Let's break it down and see if Caitlin can save women's basketball from financial disaster. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the WNBA's $40 million problem. You heard that right, folks. The league is bleeding money faster than a rookie's first paycheck. We're talking about losing $109,000 every single day. That's insane. Now, you might be thinking, wait a minute, hasn't the WNBA been around since 1996? Why are they still in the red? Good question. The truth is, they've been struggling with low ticket sales and tiny TV deals from day one. It's like they're trying to fill an Olympic-sized pool with a garden hose. But here's where it gets really wild. The NBA owns a whopping 75% of the WNBA when you add it all up.
The Atlanta Dream set the record for the biggest crowd to watch a WNBA game in Georgia history.
Pretty exciting. One of the big reasons fans flock to State Farm Arena is, of course, the Caitlin Clark effect.
Caitlin Clark tonight.
Oh, gotta watch number 22.
I've been watching Caitlin for a couple of years, and since then I've dreamed about coming to a game.
She's just brought a lot to the WNBA and also to the game itself and for women, so women's sports.
These big shot NBA owners have been waiting since '96 to see some green. They've pumped in hundreds of millions of dollars, and now they're getting antsy. Can you blame them? Imagine lending your buddy some cash back in '96 and they still haven't paid you back. That's exactly how these NBA bigwigs feel right now. They're looking at their investment and wondering if they'll ever see a return. One exec even said the WNBA won't see any real profits for years. Years! That's not just a red flag, that's a whole red marching band parading down Main Street. So what's the WNBA doing about this financial nightmare? They're expanding the season and adding more games. But let's be real, is that really enough? It's like trying to plug a leaky dam with a piece of gum. The league's in such a deep financial hole, they'd need a rocket to get out. More games might bring in a little extra cash, but it's not going to solve the underlying problems. Low attendance, small sponsorship deals, and minimal media coverage are still dragging them down. And here's the kicker. While the WNBA's trying to figure out how to stop the bleeding, the NBA's sitting on a gold mine. They're raking in billions while their little sister league is scraping by. Talk about an awkward family dinner. Just when the WNBA thought things couldn't get more complicated, along comes a fresh-faced rookie with a game that's got everyone talking. Caitlin Clark isn't just good, she's record-breaking good. But here's the twist. Her meteoric rise is causing some serious friction within the league. Why are some WNBA veterans feeling threatened by Clark's success? Let's talk about Caitlin Clark for a second. This rookie isn't just making waves. She's causing a full-on tsunami in the WNBA. Her first game? Sold out. TV ratings through the roof. And don't even get me started on the merch sales. It's like everyone and their grandma wants a piece of Clark. But here's where it gets wild. Some WNBA players are actually mad about all this attention. Can you believe that? They're worried Clark's getting special treatment. I mean, come on. She's bringing in the cash the league desperately needs. It's like being mad at the goose that lays golden eggs. Picture this. Clark's on the court, lighting up the scoreboard like a pinball machine. Meanwhile, Diana Taurasi, the league veteran, is on the bench arguing with the ref. Talk about a changing of the guard. It's like watching the torch being passed right in front of our eyes. Now, don't get me wrong. Clark's playing like she's been in the league for years, but it's not all smooth sailing. Some games, she's on fire in the first half, making shots that'd make Steph Curry jealous. But then things get tense. The pressure builds and you can see it on her face. She's good, but she's still human, folks. You know what's crazy? Some people are actually wondering if one player can save an entire league. I mean, that's a lot of pressure to put on a rookie's shoulders, right? It's like asking a single raindrop to end a drought. But hey, stranger things have happened in sports. Here's the thing though, Clark's not just bringing in fans and money, she's stirring up drama in the league like a pot of boiling soup. Some players are loving the attention she's bringing to women's basketball. Others, not so much. It's like high school all over again, with the new kids shaking things up. Drama in the locker room is one thing, but the real shocker's happening in the WNBA's accounting department. They're about to drop $40 million this season. Their fix? An expansion plan that's got everyone from team owners to players scratching their heads. What could possibly go wrong? So the WNBA's big solution is adding new teams. Sounds smart, right? More teams, more money. But hold up, it's not that simple. Golden State just shelled out $50 million to start a WNBA team. And Toronto? They went even bigger, dropping a whopping $115 million. That's not pocket change, folks. We're talking serious investment here. But here's the kicker. None of that cash is going to pay back the NBA owners. Can you imagine their faces? They're probably sitting there like, hey, where's our cut? These NBA bigwigs have been waiting for nearly 3 decades to see some green. Now there's all this new money flowing in, and they're not seeing a dime of it. Talk about a slap in the face. And it's not just the NBA owners feeling the heat. These new WNBA team owners are probably wondering when they'll see any return on their investment. I mean, would you wait 30 years to make your money back? That's longer than some marriages last. Now, the league's throwing around some big numbers. They're saying they'll rake in $60 million by 2026. Sounds great, right? But here's the catch. Player salaries are going up too. It's like they're trying to fill a bathtub with the drain open. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. And just when you think it can't get any more complicated, there's this. The players might opt out of their contract by November 1st. If that happens, all bets are off. We could be looking at a whole new ballgame, and not in a good way. The WNBA's trying to grow, no doubt about it. But it's like they're building on quicksand. More teams might sound good on paper, but in reality, it could mean more problems, more salaries to pay, more arenas to fill, more tickets to sell. And if they can't fill those seats, well, let's just say it won't be pretty. Speaking of empty seats, there's another group that's feeling pretty empty-handed right now. The NBA investors have been waiting patiently for their payday. But after 30 years, their patience is wearing thin. What happens when the big dogs start barking for their bone? Let's talk about these NBA investors for a second. These guys aren't just casual backers. They're the heavy hitters who've been keeping the WNBA afloat since day one. We're talking about nearly 3 decades of writing checks, crossing their fingers, and hoping for a return. And what do they have to show for it? A big, fat goose egg. Now, some of these NBA owners are starting to speak up, and boy, are they not happy. They're knocking on Adam Silver's door, demanding answers. Hey, Commish, they're saying, when are we going to see some green? It's like they've been watering a plant for 30 years and it still hasn't bloomed. You want to hear something wild? One exec spilled the beans, saying they're not even getting a piece of the WNBA expansion fees. Can you imagine that? It's like investing in a restaurant and not even getting free breadsticks. These guys are watching new teams pop up, big money changing hands, and they're left standing there with empty pockets. Now get this. The NBA isn't just dipping its toes in the WNBA waters. They own 60% of the league outright. And when you count the individual owners' stakes, that number jumps to a whopping 75%. That's not just skin in the game. That's practically the whole hide. But here's the real kicker. They can't just cut and run. Imagine the headlines. NBA abandons women's basketball. It'd be a PR nightmare. So they're stuck between a rock and a hard place, watching their investment bleed money year after year. The million-dollar question is, how long can this go on? At what point do these bigwigs say, enough is enough? It's like watching a high-stakes game of chicken, and nobody wants to blink first.